The ayes have it. The question now is that Clause 9 stand part. Sue Moroney.
Thank you, Mr Chair. I had hoped that Mr McIndoe was going to make a full contribution on a piece of legislation that's important to our city, being the Hamilton City Council Parana Parkland Vesting Bill, but perhaps he'll have something to say on Clause 9, and I certainly hope that he does have something to say and make a contribution with this regard. Mr Chair, Clause 9 is the clause that essentially gives the powers to the Registrar General of Land to make the computer documentation of the transfer into the hands of the Hamilton City Council of this particular piece of land, being Parana Park. And I'd like to be able to say being Parana Park of X number of hectares, but of course that's in some dispute. And I really want to stand up and support this clause because I think it makes sense and it is very, very sensible. However, there is an issue with the outstanding problem of not knowing exactly how much land is going to be registered by the Registrar General of Land. Because I don't know if people following this debate can remember from 2 weeks ago, but in changing the drafting of one of the earlier clauses and defining this piece of land, my colleague David Shearer did a bit of maths and worked out that the new descriptor of how large the piece of land was actually didn't match the previous description of the piece of land, which went through a number of blocks of land that made up Parana Park. And in fact, what we discovered, because, and Mr Mcindoe, that would be because we still haven't had an answer from the member who is sponsoring this bill, who's brought the bill forward, because he's had 2 weeks now. He's had 2 weeks, and I do know that, I know David Shearer asked the question about whether he'd been in the electorate during that period of time, and I can actually say that I know David Bennett has been in the electorate during that course of the time. And it would have been great if he'd got out, because we had great sunny weather for those whole 2 weeks. He could have got out with his tape, could have gone round and measured the circumference of it and actually done some real work for this bill, because I'm not, I don't know, maybe he did put pen to paper and he actually drafted this, but probably my guess is that he didn't. Possibly not, but it would be good to have seen him do some background research over the course of those 2 weeks to actually find out what the area of that land is, because we do have a dispute between the two definitions. And it is of concern when we look at Clause 9, because now Clause 9 is giving the power to the Registrar General to actually transfer this land onto the computer database, and yet there's still some uncertainty about how much that piece of land actually is and what the definition should be about describing that piece of land. In Clause 8, the clause that we've just finished debating, I must say that we were all in support of it because it saved money or didn't put unnecessary costs on the Hamilton City Council, and as I described in my previous contribution, it's a City Council, and I'm sure it's not alone in this, around the country that's struggling because of a lack of economic growth in the area to actually contain the cost to ratepayers, because let's face it, any cost that is put on the Hamilton City Council in the passing of this bill will be passed on to those ratepayers. Those ratepayers that already have faced an increase in GST on everything that they purchase, those ratepayers that are facing a increase in petrol costs, those ratepayers that are, some of them, are facing increased early childhood education fees as well. So we don't want to pass on any more costs by passing this bill to the Hamilton City Council that would therefore be picked up by Hamilton ratepayers. So it is of concern to me that I see that the Select Committee did make a change when it came to Clause 9, and where they had previously been looking at a bill that was drafted to say that the Registrar General must, without fee, issue a new computer register in the name of the Hamilton City Council for this land, that's now changed, and they've said on application, which means that the Hamilton City Council, I'm assuming the Hamilton City Council, will be responsible for paying a fee for this computer transfer to occur. And I think that's really unfortunate.